Oh, hello everyone, Slampig Magoo. Welcome back to the channel. You guys are the best, always coming back, clicking on these videos. You mean the world to me, you really do, I mean that. Maybe I really mean that more today than most days. Your humble little narrator here has run into I guess you could call it a stretch of bad luck. Maybe 2 days ago, he shows up to work and they pull everyone up into the little conference area. And there's a bunch of people there no one ever even seen before. It turns out they were like lawyers for the company and representatives of the owners and everything. And they're closing the place. It was really just a legal notice. The lawyer stood there with like a paper, read stuff off, pursuant to article this and that, and it wasn't even personal. It was a huge slap in the face. There are multiple people there, that have given 20 plus years life to that company, and they were thrown away like trash. And that's sadly enough, that's the end game of a lot of businesses here in America these days. Consolidation they call it, but other people call it by other names. I don't even know, man. I've been doing really bad. I haven't really been sleeping well, up all night worrying. The economics of the time are really bad. The last maybe few years have seen resources just drain bank accounts and everything. And, this job loss couldn't come at a worse time, But, I don't know, usually I would I would wake up and throw this video on and try to make something snappy and funny for people. But really, I just flip this thing on to probably just start talking and do it, as maybe a form of therapy. So, this might be boring, it might not, but then we're going to launch forward into a little tirade of how DEI and and all that sort of stuff. I took such a friggin' smack in the face the last couple days. I'm still sitting here trying to figure it all out myself. It feels like, I don't know, man, if someone just like ran up to me, friggin' whacked me in the head and took off. Like, my mind just fucking reels when I'm trying to think about it. But if I had to give a date for the beginning of the shit, I'd say it was about a year ago, at my job. The old management, the management that was there since I started, they just pretty much took off, all in the matter of maybe 6 weeks or so. One of the managers got fired, and then the other two just literally got jobs and took off, And it seems out of nowhere, we had this brand new management team, man. And they screamed fucking diversity, equity, and inclusion. These were obvious ESG hires. We got 2 migrants, a physically disabled man, and a man that, although he did not come out to the staff, 100% of the place agrees that he's somewhere on the rainbow spectrum. I mean, he's just a real effeminate man. And they literally all started within the same week, and the job it hit the fan, at the workplace. But the employees, we've been there for years, what I mean? Some people have been there for decades. We knew the workflow, how to get orders out, and unfortunately, with hindsight, we all stepped up. You know what I mean? These guys showed up and were like, look, we have to run jobs in this order because this machine is faster and this setup takes a long time. So if you want good workflow, we do things like that, And we did our best, you know what I mean? But the management just shot down all ideas. No, we know what's good. We're the management. You're just the employee, so you're going to do shit this way. And shit just started to go south, A few months after that, we were all still reeling from the management change and just how inefficient everything was running. The first wave of firings happened. Well, slowly, I mean, there's always an element of turnover in jobs like this, you know what I mean? And just people weren't getting rehired, and then they laid off of people, and then they brought in a shitload. And the shitload that they brought in were exclusively African migrants. They showed up in great big buses full, a couple of them. And they hit the production floor, and our new friggin', diversity-focused managers took them to all the departments. It was like, hey, this is Quaquaw, and he's fucking, take him under his wing, show him your job, And, all the old timers were looking around at each other, were like, this isn't going to work. This motherfucker can't speak English. He can't do, he can do metric, what I mean? But he can't do a friggin' American Standard math. We're a fucking machine shop. What is this guy going to do? And, yeah, it was horrible. A lot of them, they started to come in as temps, but the company hired them all like right off the bat. Like, yeah, man, come on in. And, it was maybe 2 or 3 months after that, the product returns started happening. We started getting a lot of stuff sent back. They just literally weren't doing their jobs at all whatsoever, and I can attest to that. There was once I was given given 3 of them. There was some returned product, on pallets. They just had a physical blemish on them, something that you could look at, identify as good or bad, and then pick up the next piece, right? So I got 3 of them. They're all sitting around the pallet of what we had returns, and I'm showing them. I'm like, this mark makes it bad. Put the bad on this pallet. If it doesn't have bad mark, it's good. This is the good pallet. Put them on here. And I watched them for all of 5 minutes. It was the most easy task, and they seemed to have picked it up, so I walked away. I come back an hour later, and literally they just moved everything from one pallet to the other without checking it. They just took everything from the returned pallet, put it on the good pallet. There was 5 or 6 samples that I left them with of bad pieces that I put on the bad pallet, and when I returned, they were the only pieces that were there. They didn't even inspect them. They just moved them. They were like, oh yeah, they're all good. And I look over there, and literally the top one on the good pallet had the blemish that you could see from 6 feet away. And I'm like, oh no, this is bad. Put the bad ones on this pallet, and now put the good ones on the first pallet, And literally took 5-10 extra minutes to explain, this is bad, this is good. Then I walk away to go do my job, because my responsibilities weren't diminished in any way whatsoever. I was still expected to hit production goals. I was still expected to get product out the door while dealing with this shit show of inexperienced, incapable employees. And I go back to them maybe another hour later, and they literally transferred the pile that they made to the bad pallet. And then they said, oh, they're all bad. And I just shook my head and walked away and went to management. I'm like, these guys can't be trained. I have a feeling that they understand. They're just not doing it, And, yeah, that doesn't go well when you have a diversity-minded management. You know what I mean? You're not explaining it to them right. I said, I'm like, how could I explain this wrong? Come with me, stand by my side while I explain to them for the 3rd time, and you tell me how I'm doing this wrong. And they refuse to do anything. They're like, just do it, And yeah, I just fucking ended up doing it myself. You know what I mean? They sat there on their cell phones in the corner. One of them took off to the bathroom for a half hour, maybe watching his phone in there, making a phone call. Who knows? But that's what this new management brought to the company. Shortly after that incident I just talked about, the first big customer took off. They're like, dropped the order down to 0. We got moved to officially a C provider for this company. The A providers get the big volume jobs. The B providers get medium volume, just in case something happens to the A provider company. And then the C company, the C provider is the backup that you don't have any orders with, but you have a professional relationship. In case the shit hits the fan with provider A and B, you are like the desperation company. We got jammed down to that. When that happened, a lot of people lost our overtime. People took a big hit in the pocket because friggin' the company decided to bring in these inexperienced people who literally just cost millions of dollars. and there was no changes made, nothing. They continued to move these inexperienced employees from department to department, laying waste to whatever equipment they touched, whatever product line they were involved in. They couldn't do shit, really. You know what I mean? You couldn't even talk to them. They ground our business to a halt. That was a few months back. Around November, shit stopped. We lost maybe one or two more big customers due to customer returns and complaints, and yeah, shit just stopped around Thanksgiving time. December was slow as hell. We were standing around doing nothing. Turns out most of our orders got taken. It before the management switch, we were bought out by a multinational. We were a small. We weren't like family owned, but we were a small company. And then a multinational bought us out. We have facilities all over America and across the world. And once we started providing poor quality to our customers, our multinational overlords pulled all the jobs out of our plant. They're like, something's fucking wrong with Massachusetts, man. Pull all the fucking jobs. Close it, And that's exactly what happened, A lot of people had the feeling that it was going to happen around Christmas, but nah, it happened, 2 weeks after Christmas. So at least we made the new year. It just happened earlier this week. And yeah, man, like I said, they just called us in, read off some legal shit, and the friggin' lawyers known as walked out the door. They literally had their jackets on and like boots on by the door. They walked maybe 10 feet into the company, gave the statement, and took right the fuck off. That's how they treated us. People who gave their lives to this company, thrown away, treated like absolute shit, And yeah, I mean, that's globalism for you. You know what I mean? They come in, they seek control, they flood you with fucking inexperienced labor, milk you for everything they can, and they just get rid of you. We should all be on the watch out for that, man. Don't let what happened to me happen to your company. As soon as you see that shit, as soon as you see the first fucking van full of temps that can't speak English or do math walk through the door, refuse to train them, man. Do what you got to do. I mean, in hindsight, I thought about that when they were coming there, just like fucking making a huge stand and shit, because I knew it was going to lead to the end of the company. But like a lot of my interactions with them were really like basic, like the story I mentioned earlier, setting them to do rework and stuff like that. I kind of work in like a machine room. They're not going to put inexperienced people on that equipment. It's an insurance risk. It's a real hazard. But any like no experience needed, friggin' just in through the door job, they obliterated it. They just could not do it. This should have been seen too. America is the most competitive environment in the entire world. You need to hit the ground running and be capable. If you are educated classically here in America, you have a chance. If you have no education and come from the fucking desert, you are fucked. You know what I mean? You are not going to succeed here. It's just not going to happen. You do not have that base fucking ability inside you, And yeah, it's been hell ever since, man. It's hard. It's hard. Like these people I've worked with for years now, watching what they're going through. A couple in particular, man. Yesterday, oh shit. Like I fucking, dude, you don't even know. I had a moment yesterday there at work, man. I almost broke right the fuck down. There's this guy. Everyone's handling the shutdown in their own way. The old timers are handling it the worst. The guys, like, they're walking around with just this dazed look on their face, wondering what they're going to do. Everyone's thinking about their bank account. They're thinking about the cost of living, their mortgages, how much they have left on their car payments. You could see it in their eyes. And this is one guy in particular. I mean, I don't want to name companies or names or anything like that. He works in a department adjacent to mine. And holy shit, this guy's a fucking trooper. Let me tell you about this guy. he was diagnosed with cancer, maybe a few months back and everything. And, you go to the chemo and everything like that, and the guy's not missed a day. Diagnosed with cancer, going through chemotherapy in the morning, showing up for his second shift job at the machine shop at work, like a fucking rock. This guy is, you know what I mean? The guy's got the will and determination inside this man. I cannot stress enough. The guy's just fucking. He's got it inside him. And he's doing this for the company. You know what I mean? I mean, sure, probably a lot of it is his financial situation. He probably needs to work while going through this, man, but he's doing it. He's getting it done, and people are fucking inspired by it. Like, if I think about taking a day off, I think of this guy, and I end up going into work. A few months back, yeah, I had a video game problem, and the new Zelda came out, and I'm like, fuck it. I took like a week off work just to sit on my couch and fucking save the princess. Fuck you. You know what I mean? People do it all the time. And I thought of that guy every day. I'm like, oh man, he's gonna talk so much shit to me when I come back, but this game is just fire. I gotta play it. Like, the guy seriously is an inspiration. And last night, the day that they gave the announcement, he was just real quiet. He was in his area. Everyone's coping in their own way, and he was coping in his work. He's worked there for 20 plus years, so he's down in his machine. He's setting it up. You know what I mean? He's doing what is comfortable for him, trying to get lost in it the best he can to ease the pain in his mind. And everyone else is sitting there walking, talking, whatever. And everyone's coping. Fast forward to yesterday's shift, and yeah, man, he's quiet. He's looking down. He's got that glazed look, and he walks up to his equipment, and yeah, he turns it on, man. He just starts cycling it through, starts cycling stock through, and everyone hears the equipment turn off, and everyone's just like, "What the fuck? Someone's running something?" You know what I mean? And everyone looks over and sees it's him, and sort of like we all look at each other, look over at him, and just shrug our shoulders. You know what I mean? He's coping. You know what I mean? Let him have his fucking, let him have his peace. And, yeah, this guy is such an inspiration that people let it fly. And it's not like he worked on a single piece of equipment. It was like a line, and he was like the line leader. So you need someone at the back and someone at the front to help it run, And this guy was so well respected that people who had no obligation to do anything at all manned the stations at each end of this guy's line just so he could have that fucking comfort, and try to take his mind off his cancer. And, people were doing it. They weren't working full shifts. People would walk over, do it for 10 minutes, and then wave someone over, be like, hey, it's him. Just do this for a few minutes. Let him get it out of his system, And, he got to the point where he ran out of stock. And at that point, you need someone else from the warehouse to come bring you stock. Like, there's a whole workflow thing. And, like, there are some assholes there. And the guy that drives the fork truck is like, dude, I'm not going way the fuck back there, getting the fork truck, going out to the warehouse, getting him stock, bring it up here. He's just fucking making junk. We're not even doing anything. He's like, I'm not going to do it. And I felt so fucking insulted by that. I'm like, well, fuck you. I'm going to hop on my fork truck. I'll go get him whatever he needs. You know what I mean? Let the guy have his fucking moment. And I went, I set up a fresh pallet of stock over by, like, the feeding area. And he's over there working. And, like, I felt, I was only, like, 15 feet from him. I felt like I had to get off the fork truck and go talk to him, And, I'm like, oh, how you doing, man? I'm like, you running? You know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, I'm just going to turn this on, bang some things out, make some money. We can't just sit here doing nothing, And it sounded like he had, like, a commitment to the company in mind. It was fucked up. And, I walk away, and he's running the machine. And then he just starts to speed it up. Like, he's going for, like, record fucking production for some weird reason. Like he's trying to push his limit. And, he burned through the stock. I had to go bring him another pallet of stock. I dump it off. I go over, walk, and talk to him. I'm like, hey, man, you're doing pretty good here. You know what I mean? You're really getting it out, And, he turns, and he's just nodding his head. He's not really saying much, And he was running the machine so fast that it faulted at that point. And if you work in the machine shop and something falls, it makes a big clang and friggin', it's audible, and then like the production noise stops and there's that weird silence right afterwards. And that happened. You heard the machine buzzing, then the clang, and then the stop. And right as soon as that sounded, the guy broke down into fucking tears, man. Like I was the only one there. There was people at the front of the lines, but I was like the one right next to him, man. And he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. He's like, I'm so sick. I'm fucking tired. I don't have any money. I've been here for 20 years. I'm old now. I'm not marketable. Dude, what the fuck am I supposed to say to that? How do you respond to that, man? You know what I mean? Other than platitudes, other than bullshit. What the fuck, And, man, you try to comfort the best you can, but there's nothing you can do, And, it makes, if anything, it makes my problem seem worse. I mean, I live alone. I got a couple fucking cats to take care of. You know what I mean? I'll be all right, man. But this guy got fucked. People deliberately destroyed his fucking livelihood, then yanked it out from under him when he needed them the most. After years, decades of fucking service, man. Probably close to 50% of his life he spent producing for these people. They treat him like shit. Treated us all like shit. I don't know, man. I don't even know if I'm going to post this. I'm just sort of fucking ranting and rambling. If I do post it, I'll try to get it up today. There'll probably be like minimal edits, and I might throw my intro in or something, man. I'm really just like therapy talking into the mic right now. If I did post it and you did watch, thanks. Let it, maybe let it sink in. Serve as a warning for your job. Keep an eye out. Don't let the globalists, well, there's nothing you can do to stop the globalists from buying your company. Actually, there's nothing you can do to stop them from bringing in the fucking DEI management. There's nothing you can do to stop the management from bringing in boatloads of migrant temps. Man, what can you do? Really, at this point. We're all in a sinking Titanic, my friends, and there is no band playing. There's no distractions. We are full frontal witnesses to the shit show that is the decline of our empire. And I'm pretty fucking pissed right now. Pretty fucking pissed.